machine also has one of the best reliability records in the industry, and it's very easy to service.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm sold.
Thank you. I'll have the tickets delivered this Thursday. I know you'll enjoy the trip.
I'm sure I will. Thank you. You've just seen the results of a process that can be extremely rewarding for everyone involved. It's a procedure known as selling. Selling is the driving force behind our economy, but it's not complicated. Whether you're selling products or services, retail or wholesale, the basics are the same.
Selling involves a buyer,
A seller?
And something to sell. And we're going to show you how it works.
No matter what you're selling, you not only must know your product, but you've also got to know how it can benefit your customers and satisfy their needs. Now, you may think you're selling one thing, but quite often, your customer is buying something else.
I'm in the jewelry business, but what I'm really selling is fashion, glamour, and prestige.
I sell business machines, but what my customers are paying for is reduced costs, increased profits, and operating efficiency.
I'm in the travel business, but what I'm really selling is adventure, excitement, and romance.
After you've gotten a thorough knowledge of your product and what it really means to your customers, you're ready to start the 5-step process of selling. The first step is to evaluate your prospect. Let's see how it's done. Linda?
Sometimes, just the way my customers are dressed gives me a clue as to what interests them. But it's just a clue. You never really know for sure till you start talking.
My products fit certain needs very well, but they're not for every organization. So I try to research those I'm planning to visit before I go out there, just to make sure I can fulfill their requirements. Also, to make sure I'm not just wasting my time. I still don't have all the answers, but it's a start.
In my business, it's hard to pre-evaluate customers. Appearances can be deceiving. So I have to talk to them to find out what they're really looking for. Knowing their needs helps me give better service.
The next step in the sales process is to approach the customer. Try to establish a friendly, harmonious relationship. Now, it shouldn't be anything phony or forced. It must be sincere. And all it takes at the start is some sort of comment that shows you're interested in your prospect. Try using some of the clues you've picked up. Let's see how Linda approaches her prospect.
Good morning. Good morning. I see that our collection of rings interests you. May I show them to you? Yes. This is one of my favorites. Oh, that's very unusual.
That's it. Nothing earth-shaking, just a sincere reaching out from one person to another. And then Linda got right down to business. After all, our job is selling. Now let's see how Alan accomplishes this step in selling business equipment. And notice how he makes occasional use of the customer's name.
I've been following the progress of your company, Mr. Gelson. You're growing rapidly.
Sometimes I think too much so.
I understand what you mean. We've worked with a number of organizations like yours, Mr. Gelson. I think we can help you.
Maybe.
A different approach, but just as effective. Both Linda and Alan gave themselves a springboard into the next step, making the sales presentation. Deliver it as conversationally as possible, tailored to the needs of your customer. Try to ask questions to find out more about your customer's needs. And make your questions short and direct.
The stones are all lovely. It's difficult to decide. Are you considering a ring for special occasions or everyday wear? Oh, I definitely want something I can wear all the time. Then I'd suggest one of these. Do you prefer something smooth or textured? That one looks very nice.
Mr. Gelson, are you interested in making better use of your people's time?
What organization isn't?
From the information you've given me, I'd estimate that your staff spends an average of 30 hours a month at the copy machine.
Sounds realistic.
Well, since our copier is about twice as fast as your present machine and requires much less warm-up time, it could save you 15 hours a month. That's 15 hours that your staff could be devoting to other work.
Alan just did something very important. He differentiated between features and benefits. Now, the features of his machine are that it's faster and requires less warm-up time. But the benefit is it will save Mr. Gelson's staff valuable time. And that's what Alan emphasized. Let's see how Anne stresses benefits over features as she sells a vacation trip.
The hotels on the first leg of your trip are among the finest in the world. On the second leg, you'll be on the SS Cotillion, which is one of the largest gyro-stabilized cruise ships afloat. Have you ever been on a gyro-stabilized ship?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you're in for a treat. The stabilizers smooth out the ship's motion so you can really relax. Add to that all the recreation anyone could ask for. Just does wonders for the appetite.
How is the food?
On the Cotillion? The food's so good you'll never want to leave the table.
That good, huh?
Well, you're not just eating. You're gourmet dining.
If everything's going right with your presentation, you should be getting responses that show that your customer is involved.
Please, try it on.
Thank you.
Try it over here where the light's better.
It's lovely.
See how brilliant the stone is? And the setting really gives it a classic quality, don't you think?
Yes, I agree.
The demonstration is an important part of keeping a customer's interest. Of course, not everything we sell can be demonstrated. But if it can, do it.
Now, this is an original letter. And this is a copy made on our machine. Compare the clarity and the definition. Now, isn't that the kind of copy you'd like to have represent you?
I have to admit, it looks pretty good.
Another good indication is when your customers express confidence in what you're saying and regard you as an expert. Accept the role.
I understand your competition has a brand new copier.
It's an excellent machine, Mr. Gelson, but I really don't think it would do the job for you. With your volume of copying, you need a faster machine, and one that's designed for continuous duty.
Like yours.
Like ours.
Unfortunately, in selling, it's not always smooth going. Sometimes problems come up, and you've got to know how to handle them.
It's beautiful, but I'll have to think about it.
The trip you've planned for me sounds really fine, but I've been wondering about a group rate.
Hey, that's an awful lot of money for a machine I've never seen operate.
Now, right here is where a lot of salespeople seem to fold up. They've just been handed an objection. Their sales presentation, which had been progressing so sweetly, suddenly seems to turn sour. So our fourth step is overcoming objections. Look at the objection as an opportunity to provide more information. Make sure you know exactly what the objection is. Now let's watch Alan as he tries to overcome the wrong objection.
Hey, that's an awful lot of money for a machine I've never seen operate.
It's really not that expensive, Mr. Gelson. Not when you consider all the features.
No, I'm not saying it's overpriced. I'm just not in the habit of buying anything sight unseen.
Oh, sure. Well, we're planning to arrange a demonstration for you at your convenience.
Look, let me think about it. I'll get back to you.
By answering the wrong objection, Alan broke the rhythm and concentration he'd worked so hard to establish. He lost control of the situation. To prevent this, clarify the objection. Repeat what you think it is in the form of a question. Let's try it again.
Hey, that's an awful lot of money for a machine I've never seen operate.
Mr. Gelson, are you saying that it's more than you expected to pay?
No, not particularly, but I certainly would like to see your machine in operation before I make any sort of commitment.
Of course. We're planning a demonstration for you. Would Thursday or Friday be more convenient?
I think Friday would be better.
Sure.
Couldn't I save quite a bit going with a group?
Do you think you'd prefer going with a group?
Well, I'm not sure.
You wouldn't have as much freedom.
Yeah, I'd probably be tied into someone else's timetable. Might not be able to do all the things I wanted.
That could happen.
You see, sometimes it can be very effective to let the customers overcome their own objections.
It's also wise to agree with your customer's concern. Then give them the information you feel will reassure them.
I'll have to think about it.
Now, I can understand. It's hard to make a decision on the spur of the moment.
It is rather expensive.
Well, that depends. You see, you'll always be able to wear it. Its design is timeless. Not like a dress that goes out of style after one season.
I guess it is something I'll enjoy having.
I'm sure it will always bring you pleasure. And you'll be proud to wear it.
The final step is closing the sale. Now, there are a number of different techniques for doing this. Let's watch Alan as he uses a series of acceptances to get his customer in the habit of saying yes.
That's quite a machine.
Do you think it could benefit your organization?
Yes, I think it could.
Would you agree that my estimates of your savings are realistic?
I'd say so.
If you can give me an authorization now, we can have one installed before the end of the week.
Let's do it.
Sometimes people just need a little push to help them make up their minds. And in addition, maybe there's a strong reason that will motivate your customer to buy now.
You really like that ring, don't you?
It's just stunning.
This collection has been one of our most popular. When these are sold, I don't know when we'll be getting more. If you're at all interested in the ring, now is the time to buy it.
Okay, I'll take it.
In this case, the reason to buy now was a limited stock of merchandise. It could also have been a reduced price, like a sale. Another good closing technique is to just assume the customer is going to buy. Here's how it works.
And for your last night there, we can arrange reservations for the show at the Royal Casino. Then the next day, you jet home.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun, but I just don't know.
What day does your vacation start?
June the 5th.
In the summer, hotels, airlines, and cruise ships book up pretty fast. If I make your reservations now, you can be assured of getting just the accommodations you want. On the cotillion, would you prefer a cabin on the main deck or the promenade?
I guess I'd like the promenade deck.
Fine.
Anne just used a combination of closing techniques. First, she stressed buy now because of limited accommodations. Then she just assumed I was ready to buy when she offered me a choice of cabins. It worked. Closing the sale is the natural outcome of a challenging, enjoyable, and rewarding process. Let's review the 5 steps.
Evaluating your prospect is the first step in selling. Find out as much as you can about your customers and how what you're selling can benefit them.
The second step is to make your approach. Try to establish a harmonious relationship. Show an interest in your customer's needs and a sincere desire to help.
Step 3 is to make your presentation. Show your customers how your products or services can fill their needs. Demonstrate if you can. Then try to act as an advisor or a consultant.
The fourth step, overcoming objections, can be a major stumbling block. Make sure you know just what the objection is. Then consider it a request for more information. Try to have your customers answer their own objections. Agree with their concerns and try to minimize them.
And then close the sale. One way is to stress the importance of acting now, or list the benefits to build acceptance, or just go ahead and assume your customer is going to buy, or simply look your customer right in the eye and ask for the order. Well, that's our presentation on selling. We hope you buy it.